Thanks. Hello, my name is Michael Squatch Loringer. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll remember that part. Ready? Good? All right. Well, welcome. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Michael Squatch Loringer. I'm the Chief of Weapons and Tactics here at USAFE Africa. Thank you for joining us at Ramstein Air Base today. We're very excited to host the first ever Ramstein 1v1 exercise. Ramstein 1v1 is a gathering of the finest aviators and maintenance units across our alliance, and a unique opportunity for learning and growth. We are honored to have representatives from 9 NATO countries and an impressive total of 37 aircraft here today. They'll be embarking on this exciting journey of skill enhancement and camaraderie. Today's training event is similar to the Navy's Top Gun 1v1 event. Pilots will face off in a friendly competition to sharpen their basic fighter maneuvering skills and tactics. Basic fighter maneuvering, or BFM for short, sometimes called dogfighting, is a foundational skill set for fighter pilots. It tests a pilot's reaction time, physical stamina, and situational awareness. BFM is a coveted and timeless skill set dating back to the first fighter pilots of World War I. There's no better way to build trust in a pilot's aircraft or a pilot's skills than to engage in a 1v1 BFM fight. This training enhances our collective capabilities, fosters interoperability, and demonstrates that our forces are prepared to meet any challenge with precision and unity. We talk a lot about interoperability, and today we are exemplifying that capability by having jets cross-service by maintainers from other countries. An example is our Norwegian F-35s, which could only participate thanks to the US F-35 maintainers offering to help service their jets. Our pilots and support crews play a crucial role in this exercise, engaging in rigorous training scenarios that test their skills, decision-making, and teamwork. Their operations showcase individual prowess and demonstrate our collective resolve and ability to operate seamlessly as a cohesive force. Ramstein 1v1 is a prime opportunity to hone our skills and have a fun experience that builds camaraderie amongst all the participants. This event's participants are not just NATO allies, but a community bound by genuine friendship and respect. This spirit of camaraderie has brought everyone here today, and it will make this event a memorable and enriching experience for all. I emphasize this point because successful military operations require exceptional teamwork, often critical to their survival. And as a pilot, it boils down to trust. It's crucial to trust your wingman. Thank you for coming out here today, and a special thank you to our German hosts for their incredible support. Now I'd like to hand it off to Colonel Trotterman. Colonel Trotterman, call sign T-Man, he is the NATO Air Command A5, but honestly he is a mentor to me, and he was one of the first senior officers that we proposed this idea to, and without his support through this entire planning process that's been about 9 months long, this would have never happened. So with that said, Colonel Trotterman, over to you. Thank you.
And the other question is, at the end of the day or at the end of the exercise, do you actually keep score to see like which country, which airframe?
So for that, for your first question, why Ramstein? Well, Ramstein hosts NATO Air Command.
Okay.
So for us, Ramstein is the heart of the NATO Air Forces. So for the planning and execution, there were some challenges based on this not being a fighter base for several years, and but we worked through that based on the amazing support of Ramstein Air Base. But really it goes back to this being NATO Air Command and the access we had to all the countries to spread the word about this, and its central location from a geographic standpoint made a lot of sense as well. And then for your second question, so I told all the participants last night, they're already winners. The fact that we had 37 aircraft show up on time for this exercise, that was a win. So we are not keeping track of who's winning and who's losing each individual fight. We're letting those individual pilots come back. They'll find each other, because if you weren't tracking nobody knows who they're fighting until they got into the airspace.
Oh, they
Until
don't.
they were about
Yeah.
15 seconds away from that other aircraft, they had no idea what airplane they were going to merge with. Merge
Okay.
just being when two fighter aircraft cross paths. So they had no idea. And that was part of the event because of that dynamic nature that forces a pilot to adjust their game plan on how they're going to execute that BFM, those tactics, is much different when you have no idea who you're going to fight. So when they come back, they'll debrief together, but beyond that, we're not tracking. We know exactly who's fighting who, and only 2 of us knew that until we handed that out to all the pilots this morning, but nobody's keeping track of the score.
And just how many times do they go up to fly?
Great question. So they're going to go out there today. We're going to have 8 waves. So each wave is just when the aircraft launch, and we have 8 aircraft per wave executing 4 engagements of 1v1 and directly above the airspace here at Ramstein. Did I answer your questions?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
The question would be why nowadays, why this time to do such a training, considering the whole...
So, I didn't come up with this exercise. I stole it, I'll be honest, from Top Gun.
Did you really?
I did, 100%. Top Gun does this 3 times a year, and when they do it, we model it exactly like theirs. They hand each pilot an envelope at the end of the brief. So this morning at 09 local time, I briefed all our pilots. We have about 67 pilots here. I briefed all of them. When they were complete with that brief, we had a customized envelope for every one of those pilots to their call sign. In that envelope, there was a frequency, a call sign to use with air traffic control, a time, and a coordinate. And their only objective was to make it to that coordinate at that time and come up on that frequency on their call sign and say weapon 11, which was our call sign with different digits as it goes through. Weapon 11, ready. The other envelope, which they have no idea who that is, would be 15 miles away and come up and say, weapon, for example, weapon 12, ready. And they would turn in and they would fight each other from that point. You still don't really know who you're fighting. It's hard to tell an airplane by a radio call. They don't know who they're fighting until they see each other, which roughly is about 10-15 seconds before the planes cross the path. Does that help kind of give the background?
Thank you.
Yeah. You want to take?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, great question. Again, it really comes from our commander, General Hecker. He's flown out here in Europe for years. When he was a younger officer, he remembered being able to go and fly with every NATO nation, and it was commonplace. And he said we kind of moved away from that. So he was talking to us, a couple of us back before I presented this idea to Colonel Trotterman. He was like, hey, how do we solve that? How do we get this to be normal again? So that was our objective, was to normalize us being able to go and fly with one another and build that trust between the pilots. So when I see one of the pilots that was at 1v1, that's one of the biggest takeaways for this, is those pilots will walk away from here, go to further exercises or whatever it might be, and recognize that name because they had a very intimate 1v1 fight, and know, hey, we were on that 1v1 together, let's go work on this. As you can see, the relationships, for example, Colonel Trotterman and I wouldn't be able to make this happen without Colonel Trotterman's help because of the relationships he had with the host nation here in Germany. And for our pilots, it's the same way. When you're going into a mission planning event, you need to have that relationship and that trust to make it successful.